Kemet versus Sumeria. Which one is the beginning of civilization? Let's talk about it. Before I get started, I need to state my credentials. I was born in 1958. In the late 70s, I became aware and I became involved with Egypt, or what you would call Kemet. I was like the baby of the Kemetic brothers and sisters, so you could call me like the baby elder. And we are from the house of Atan. My name is Pharaoh Ramesses El Atan. We are not under the house of Amen, we are under the house of Atan, which I will have to make a whole video about that. Our teacher was a very popular musician by the name of Sun Ra, and my particular teacher was an elder by the name of Ptah. There's quite a few brothers older than me that are Kemetic, and we are some of the original Kemetic living people in the United States. Later on, as you get more towards the 80s, you had the brothers in Los Angeles called the King's Chamber. All of us born in the United States. And the King's Chamber in Los Angeles, their mission was to find the cap off of the pyramid, because they said the cap from the pyramid was stolen and that it was in Hollywood. I'm not a Johnny-come-lately. By the time many of the scholars got out of the college circuit and started really talking to what we called the cultural community at that time, I was already an Egyptian spaceman. So I was Kemetic when I went to see Dr. Ben. I'm not one of the people that, saw Dr. Ben or John Henry Clark or read Chancellor Williams and became Kemetic. I was already a Kemetic. Now, with that being said, let me get into Kemet versus Sumeria. Now, there's a lot of discussion over the cradle of civilization. Was it Kemet or was it Sumeria? And I'm not here to say who's right or who's wrong. I'm just here to pass on the ancient Kemetic information as we taught it in the late 70s and early 80s, so that you young people out there that listen to what I'm saying will have some basis of understanding and be able to think on the capacity that the original Kemetic order in the United States thought on. Now, our way of thinking was this. You do not know all of the answers. Now, the reason I say that, if you look back in history, every time mankind has stated dates and facts, there has been some historian or archaeologist that have found new findings. And people have to go back and change their statements. For example, the Christians and the theologians had pretty much said that man was 6,000 years old or so. And Leakey comes along and finds some bones in Ethiopia, and guess what? They're 2 million years old. So it messed up the whole dates that they set. Now, when you talk about Sumeria and Kemet, it's very important to say from what we found or from what we know, this is the oldest or this is the oldest. And the reason you have to say that because much of the information has not been found. Those of us from the ancient order of the Kemetic sciences, us ancient Egyptian spacemen, we realize and recognize the existence of Atlantis, which is now under the ocean, and of Mu, which is where Hawaii is right now. Now, I lived in Hawaii for a while, and if you live in Hawaii, you can tell that the volcano is up and the volcano shoots lava and it creates these islands. But the volcano always been there. So say you have a land like Mu and it's on top of the world, and there's a volcano shooting lava and it sinks. Well, the continent is going to be under the ocean, but that volcano is going to keep shooting lava, keep shooting lava, keep shooting lava until it starts to come on, grow and grow and grow up out of the ocean. And then it's going to keep making lava and keep making lava, and it's going to create a new landmass. So what you call Hawaii is a landmass built from the volcano that's on top of what we call Mu, that is under the ocean. And the reason I'm bringing up Atlantis and Mu, whether you believe they existed or not, is to bring up the facts that the ocean has not been thoroughly explored. So when you say Sumeria is the oldest, Kemet is the oldest, well, you do not have all of the facts. Now, I'll give you another example of how you might not have all of the facts. Let's look at the Antarctic. And let's look at how the glaciers are starting to melt. Well, as the earth gets warmer from man's recklessness, and these glaciers melt, what will we find under all that ice? Because there is no proof that that ice has been here all of the time. So this is why the last book in the Bible is called the book of what? Revelation. Because a lot of knowledge has not been revealed. So I was taught not to make exact statements that was pinpointed by dates or that was based off of what was found, because we still have things to find. And we do not have all the information. So it's very important for you to realize that you are coming with conclusions based off of the small bits of information that you have found. And you have not found all of the information. It's highly possible that neither Kemet or Sumeria was the original landing site for the various species that came to this planet. If you read in the book of Genesis, God said, "Let us make man in our image, male and female," which proves that there was a male and female God. But when it says us, was that just two? Or was there a lot of different gods and goddesses? And then all of these gods and goddesses create people in their image. So in other words, did people come from outer space and land in Atlantis and land in where the Aztecs are, in Bimini, in Yucatan, in Sumeria, in Mexico, in North America, in Russia, in China? Did various fallen angels land in all these various places around the same time? See, we don't know. For all we know, the same Anunnaki that were in Kemet got there around the same time the Anunnaki got in Sumeria. Got there at the same time the Anunnaki got in Mexico. Because we do not have all the facts. And when you don't have all the facts, it's hard to just point your finger and say, oh, this is this. We don't have all the facts. And facts will be released to us as time goes, as it gets closer for the return of certain beings. Many things were hid. Some things are not even on this planet. From what I was taught that when things got bad and the war started happening on this planet between good and evil, I was taught that a lot of the good got on a mothership, but before they got on the mothership, I was told that they hid 33 1/3 of the knowledge. They left 33 1/3 of the knowledge amongst us, and they took 33 1/3 of the knowledge onto the mothership and left. When you read the Bible, it says the chariots of God are 20,000. You just have to know what you're reading. So when we get into this debate about Sumeria and Kemet, I don't think it's a fair debate. I personally don't think that we could talk about if Sumeria is first or if Kemet is first without knowing more information about Atlantis, without knowing more information about Mu, and without knowing more information about the Incas, the Aztecs, the Native Americans, the Dogons, a lot of the Sadhu and Swami in India, and a lot of the holy men in Tibet, along with many of the holy men on the islands in Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. So I really don't think we have all the facts. As far as black people go, I think it is very, very, very important to study Kemet, because Kemet has the most evidence of our existence. If you look at the pictures of the people in Sumeria, they do not look like you and I. Oh, there's a couple, but it's not like what you see in Kemet. So when you talk about relics and things that we have found, Kemet would have the most information to show some of our ancient history. But there's a lot of stuff at the bottom of the ocean. And there's a lot of stuff under the ice on the North and South Pole. There's also a lot of stuff in the jungles of Central Africa, in the jungles in the Amazon in South America. There's a lot of things that we have not seen. So when you're debating, it's good to say, from what we have found so far, this seems to be possible. When we came into the knowledge, and when I came into the knowledge, we did most of our analysis and thought from a common sense basis. We used common sense and looked at certain things, and we didn't just go by books or what they found. We just used some common sense to come up with the revelation of knowledge about past history. Because a lot of things, if you just think about it, if you just meditate, and you just look at the earth and you just use some common sense, many things will be revealed unto you. There's a lot of things you don't know. And so don't make no harsh claims about Sumeria versus Kemet. Because there's other places. There's Bimini, there's Yucatan. There's all kind of things happening around where the Bermuda Triangle is at. There's a lot of things that's happening on this planet. Watch videos from Sun Ra and watch videos from Dr. Delbert Blair, and you'll see that there was a lot of things coming here from outer space. It wasn't just one group came here from outer space. There was various beings coming here. So, just to say, well, they came to Sumeria. Well, that particular group is just like when you read the Bible and you follow in the lineage of the Hebrews, there's other books you can read that follow other lineage of other families. So you just can't just look at Sumeria and say, oh, this is it. You can't just look at Kemet and say, oh, this is it. You have to come to the realization that much of the knowledge has been hidden, has been buried, has been burnt, has been sacked, has been stolen. A lot of it's in the Vatican. Down in the basement of the Vatican. There's a lot of information that you'll never get to see until that falls. And like I say, when the glaciers melt, what are they going to find? When man finally creates things that could take him to the bottom of the ocean, what is he going to see? Besides sea monsters, what else is he going to see? So the bottom line is, or as they say, at the end of the day, it's good for you to know that you do not have all of the facts. Some of the wisest men will tell you the best answer. They don't know. One.